Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer, part number 2990, in a 632 finish. This is a screen door hinge by Bommer. It's a 2990, and that is a particular variant of their screen door hinges. This would mean that it is a half surface model. That's what 2990 means, along with a couple of other things, which we'll go over in a moment. You see these hinges very often, going to be used in light-duty applications, light-duty, light doors. Obviously, a screen door or a storm door is where you're certainly going to see a hinge like the 2990. The 2990 is it's a couple of things. It is a button tip, half surface, adjustable tension. It's more than a couple of things. It is a half surface, adjustable tension with a spring, with a button tip. So other hinges from Bommer are variants on this. They may not have a button tip. They might be full surface, etc. But this is what a half surface model looks like from Bommer that has a button tip and adjustable tension. This would probably be considered the more expensive of the opportunities for this type of hardware because it's adjustable tension with a button tip. Okay, those make this hinge, certainly, in my opinion, the one that you'd want to use because it's a more, it's a better finish, fit and finish with that closed-off button tip. You could have an option with a loose pin, where really all you see is the pin sticking out of the top of the hinge, which is perhaps unsightly if you're looking for it. But it is an adjustable tension, which is really nice. You want to be able to adjust how hard that door is going to come into the closed position. This is half surface, a half surface hinge, and this is exactly what the hinge would look like from your perspective if you were looking at a right-hand reverse door. The door is here, it swings out, okay? Hinges would be on the right as you face it, okay? And the door would swing out in that way. Half surface refers to, is one of the types of hinges in terms of the design and how they mount or where they mount. You have full mortise, half surface, full surface. Full mortise, full surface, half of each of those. Half surface, half mortise. The term mortise or surface always applies to the door when you have a half. So if I tell you that it's a half surface hinge, that therefore means the leaf that attaches to the door is the surface leaf, and the other leaf is the other way. If I said to you half mortise, that would mean that the leaf going to the frame is surface mounted because the door mortise is mortised. Anyway, this is a half surface model. Full surface, full mortise. Full surface would be completely surface applied. Full mortise is where both leaves would go in between the door and the frame. This is going to be very typical. You're going to attach the hinges to your frame, and then your door will come in place. Then you'll shim that all in place, and then pre-drill your holes and attach, and you're done. Probably only going to need 2 spring hinges on a door. Very occasionally, customers will order 3, and that's because they believe that they might have a heavier door than standard, and that certainly could be the case. That link to the cut sheet that's down below here, let's stop and take a quick look and see what that all looks like to differentiate the 2990 against its sister products. And this is linked to down below, but on this page is where we're going to see the different series of these hinges. Well, 2990 is down here. Give you an idea of what it looks like when the door is in the closed position. Adjustable tension with a button tip. So let's focus on that. Okay. The 2920 is going to be let's focus on this first. Full surface, half surface. Full, half, full and half. Okay. So what we really have here are 3 sets. This set is all going to be adjustable tension loose pin, either full surface or half surface. This set is non-adjustable tension with a loose pin, full surface, half surface. So the options in terms of your adjustable tension with a button tip will either be full surface or half surface. And that's really how you break these down. The hinges are really going to have the same capacity of door weight. 3 hinges for a maximum of 50 pounds. Now that's going to be an awfully heavy storm door. And I don't really think that you're going to need 3 hinges. However, you might want 3 hinges. And the reasoning could be is, well, if the door is a standard height of a door like 6'8", 80 inch, or maybe taller, best practice within the industry would tell you that you need 3 hinges. 2 hinges for a door height up to 60 inch, and then an additional hinge for every 30 inch after that. So best practice might just tell you put 3 on the door because that's what's normal, and it'll certainly help keep the door from warping. If there's any warp that were to occur, that middle hinge will certainly help that. And plus, you're going to have better control over the door when you have more spring hinges and you're dealing with an adjustable tension. Okay. The rest of the data, so on this page, you can get the concept right here of what they're talking about. Full surface, half surface. Your frame, let's take a look at that. Okay, so what we have here is, let's talk about a definition of what full and half surface hinges really look like. So if we're going to, let's illustrate this. You've got this door, and then you have the frame. It's very likely that you have some casing out here. Got your frame that's going to come back. Let's say that your frame looks like this. In a situation where you have some casing, obviously full surface is really not going to be even remotely what you're going to be able to handle, because you're not going to be able to get that installed flat because you've got this casing. In this case, I think it would be very appropriate for you to be able to take your half surface hinge and install that leaf there, then the rest of the hinge comes over here. Okay? Because you have the ability right there. So you're not going to interrupt any casing that you have here. That would work out really well. Now, obviously in a full surface scenario, you're going to have basically a flush condition. Now on the hinge itself, you'll notice that the hinge is flush here. Okay. However, in reality, you don't have anything to be concerned with, because a full surface hinge is indeed going to give you the sort of flush condition that would be necessary for your application. Let me pull up a template and show it to you. Here's the 2920. Okay, so as we look at that, it's going to be flush here. So you're going to need to definitely accommodate, or at least know up front, what is it that you are faced with? Is this going to be an absolute flush condition? Okay, and if it is, then I think you're going to be in really good shape. So the link below this video to the product catalog will allow you to quickly pick up the different types that there are and then proceed accordingly. They're all very common. Well, they're all common, but I can tell you that the 2920, I can tell you the adjustable tension button tip is certainly more common than the loose pin. Okay, and really we're drawing attention to this feature here versus here. This just looks nicer is the bottom line. But that 2920, we sell that all the time as well. Okay, 2930, that's a real common one. All right. Now, in terms of finishes, we're dealing with a 2920. if we were to pull up the Bommer 2920, I had said 2920, but we're dealing with a 2990. Bommer 2990, you're going to be able to see this hinge in lots of different finishes. And what you're going to see here is when we search for Bommer 2990, these different finishes come up. And we don't have images of all of them, but we do have the ability to show you a 600 is going to be prime coat, 601 is bright black japanned, 603 is zinc coated, 632 is polished brass, 633 is satin brass, 639 satin bronze, 640 is oil rubbed bronze, 643 would be like a antique bronze. That's an unusual finish. 646 is nickel, a satin nickel. 651 is polished chrome. 652 is satin chrome. Because this hinge is made of steel, they can really plate any finish on the hinge necessary. And Bommer is quite proud of the fact that they can do 33 different finishes in their own plating facility. Bommer has their own plating facility in addition to their manufacturing plant of hinges. So we've talked about the particulars of it, the finishes. The 632 is going to be polished brass. Now the size on the template, they say 2 3/4, and we'll go over that. We'll check the dimensional properties near the end of the video, and along with the screws. They're sold as each. When you buy one, we'll send you one. If you order two, they're very likely going to come in their own box, but they're priced and sold per hinge. Now here's the template that we're looking at. Now this shows the hinge in a situation where the door is open to 90 degree. So if you just imagine your door sitting in here, okay? If this were to articulate this way, it would be in the closed position. But this does allow you to see all of the dimensional properties of the hinge. And that 2 3/4 that they're referring to is right here. That's the height of the leaf that goes onto the jamb, okay? So very typical, simple, and straightforward type of material. You'll see that this template is from 1998, and Mr. Jackson, Stuart Jackson, who I've met, and could not be more grateful for his exceptional command of the subject matter. That is an epic understatement. That he indulges my questions over and over. He is running one phenomenally, incredibly well-engineered product line at Bommer. Bommer believes that they are best in class in their product, in their customer service, okay, their quality, their engineered product, the quality of it, and their customer service, and they will happily compete with anyone in those departments. I'm a fan. I like their material a lot, and I hope it comes through. Now, looking at the rest of the 2990, let's take a little visual tour of the item, and we'll talk about setting the tension on the unit as well. Now, here's that hinge looking right back at you. That 2 3/4 is the height. Now, in terms of how much tension to set, I probably wouldn't be looking to exceed any more than 3 holes, maybe 4, assuming that your door just goes to 90. If it gets out past 90, don't go past 3 holes. Setting the tension is simple. For every order that you place, you'll get at least 1 tension rod. For every hinge that you order, you'll get 1 tension pin. This design requires 1 tension pin. Not all of Bommer hinges take only 1 tension pin. Some take 2. Can't think of any that take more than 2. When this is installed, as a reference point, when the tension collar is pointed towards the top of the door, you'll insert that tension rod into a hole and you'll turn it clockwise. You'll feel tension get set, and into one of those new holes is where you're going to drop a pin. If you're installing it the opposite hand, tension collar down, turn it counterclockwise. It's that simple. I would hang your door. However many hinges, get your door in place, shim it, pre-drill your holes, screw it. Screws are attached in a complementary finish. Those are made of steel. Pre-drill your holes, attach them. They're probably number 7 screws. Yeah, that's what they say, 7 by 3/4. throw a couple holes of tension on there, and then just test the door, okay? And then continue to adjust. I think you'll get more bang for the buck out of the bottom hinge than the top, but because your door is going to be quite relatively light to begin with, plus your spring hinge, your door may be a screen door, and there's really not going to be a lot of resistance. There's not going to be a lot of air that the door has to move out of its way in order to close. So, you know, needing or desiring 3 hinges on a door may not be because you need additional reserve stored energy on the spring. It just might be to help keep your door looking symmetrical, but in almost all instances 2 would be the number. If, you know, I get clients that will order this material either late in the season, in the fall, and they'll hang on to it until they go back to their cabin or their retreat or their rural second vacation spot, and they'll say, you know what, give me 3 because I'm driving 4 hours away, and when I'm going to be there for a week, I just want to have everything I need. So sometimes that happens as well, but 2 would be the standard, no doubt about it. This is 632 finish. That means 3 things. It means it's made of steel. It means that it is in a polished brass finish, and that it has a lacquer on it as well. Okay, so we talked about the setting of the tension, where to place the hinges on the door. You know, that there's really not a lot of guidance. I would be anywhere between 5 and 8 inches from the top of the door. From the bottom of the door, I'd probably be anywhere from, you know, 7 to 12 inches from the bottom. If I was going to be doing 3 hinges, I would probably look to make that symmetrical between the top and bottom hinge. I wouldn't worry about that excessively very much. On that template, all of the dimensional properties are there should you need to or want to review exactly what it is that you are getting so that you know where the holes are for the screws. But an otherwise exceptional piece of engineering. This has the Bommer logo on it, and the only reason it doesn't say Made in USA is because they don't have enough real estate to stick that on the hinge. Bommer is 100% domestically manufactured, 100%. A fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. They are the only hinge manufacturer that can make that statement. They believe their product is the best that there is available, and to that I say I do not disagree at all when it comes to many facets of what they do. I've been to the plant. They are incredibly gracious individuals, very, very passionate about what they do. It was the founder of Bommer, 2 brothers, I believe, that invented the entire category of spring hinges in about 1876. So 140 years later, plus, they are doing a great job. Bommer hinges are used everywhere. Courtrooms, nuclear submarine, not a joke. If you've ever been to New York City and stayed in a hotel that was somewhat historic, you are probably in a building with hundreds of Bommer hinges. The city of Chicago is chock full of them. If you've ever been in a restaurant with a double acting door from the kitchen to the diner, probably a Bommer hinge. Or it's of inferior clone of the hinge. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Bommer products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Bommer $29.90 in a 632 finish or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.